Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coming in Hot. And this evening, we're going to finish up my interview with Miss Marie Davis. And the latter half of this interview, we talk about faith and we talk about cold plunging, which was exciting for me because I've been telling you guys I'm into this. And I'm so into it, side note, that I did it while I was on vacation for the first time. Woo woo. I know, I'll have to post a video on Facebook. I've been meaning to do it. I'm just behind. This, um, what is it called? Not at home learning, but anyway, virtual. My daughter's doing virtual. One of them is, and let's just say it's been fun. So anyway, what else did we talk about? Ooh, we talked a little bit about the metaphysical, and then we also talked about the importance of having a personalized personal growth plan for yourself. And she shared some more isms, so we have a lot of fun and some more giggles. So anyway, I hope you enjoy the rest of our interview.
I have a hobby that not everybody agrees with. I'm a paranormal investigator, and they tease me all the time saying that I have alien DNA because I'll sit in the graveyard all night long in the dark by myself, no flashlight, talking to things that aren't there, or things that you can't see.
That's what I was about to say. Just things you can't see.
Things you can't see, but it doesn't bother me a bit. And they said, why don't you ever get scared? Because my God's bigger and I'm in control. I mean, there's been scary things that have happened, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. But I'm going to get past it because my brain, my mind, my psyche is stronger than anything that's been thrown at me so far.
Man, are there particular books that you read that help? Because I'm a big book reader. Are there any books or anything, even if you don't read actively now, just things that you remember that you've used before in your past to help you?
There were a lot of studying that I did for empath, for people that feel other people's energies and other people's hurts. I read a lot of things like that. There are some really good, one lady's name is Rose. I think it's Rose Tree is her name. It's a strange name, but I just read things that were positive, I tried not to put anything negative into my mind, I try not to. I mean, every now and then I read something dark, something comes across, my Kindle or something. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds good, Yeah.
Well, I think those are good. And I think they're healthy as long as they're an every once in a while thing, because then it can be some entertainment,
Yes.
type thing. I think there's definitely a good, healthy balance with all of that for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm always searching for it.
I mean, there's chemo brain is a real thing. First of all, let me say, when I'm trying to go, okay, I read a really good book, but I don't remember the name of it. But just do your due diligence and find a method that works for you and find somebody that works that method very well. That would be the best advice I could give anybody. You did a Facebook Live the other day, and it was the subject of the cold, taking cold showers and dipping. Yeah. I've been doing that for about 2 years now, and it has, like, not only does it open up your skin literally, and I get in that, and that shower is so hot that I could steam all my clothes if I hung them in the bathroom. And then all of a sudden I'll just turn that hot water off and turn that cold on full blast, and my pores have been cleansed because of the hot water and the soap and everything that I've done. And then just giving them that blast of cold just opens your skin up to receive so many more impulses, I feel things honestly on a deeper level. And I'm not talking about psyche wise. I'm talking about my skin actually feels things on a deeper level now. Now that can be a bad thing too. I got stung by a wasp a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, this hurts. It hurt for like 3 days. And I was like, normally it would hurt for 20, 30 minutes and be done. But no, this sucker hurt for like 3 days. But maybe it was a murder hornet. I don't know. It looked like a wasp, but who knows? But I honestly think that my skin has physically changed.
It's interesting.
Find the things that work for you,
Well, let me ask you real quick. How did you get into the cold stuff? Like, what made you do that?
My daughter's cheer coach. She is very, I can picture her in a commune. I mean, she wasn't raised that way, but she's very much into nature. She's a vegan. She's very much into raw foods, and she got me into, first I was a vegetarian, then I was a vegan, and then my doctors and my surgeons are like, you're not healing the way you're supposed to because you're not getting the right amount of protein. So, and you have to be careful with what proteins you get as a diabetic. So, I had to go back to eating some animal proteins, but I don't digest them well. And she was like, Marie, I think you should try this. And this was right after, I guess I've been doing it longer than 2 years when I think about it, because I had my surgery to remove the first tumor in 2016, and it was towards the end of that year. I had my surgery in February, and it was towards the end of 2016 that she told me, you need to try this, So at first I was like, you're crazy. I hate the cold.
Yeah.
So I tried it one day, just, like, that was it. Just turn the water on real quick. That was it. And then I thought, well, that wasn't too bad, and I try to rinse my hair with cool anyway, because it closes the pores in your scalp so your hair doesn't get oily as quickly. So I thought, well, I'm just going to try it. And I haven't looked back. I mean, I love it. It's part of my shower now. It's the thing I do right before I dry off. That's just, everybody has their own bath time rituals. That's mine. It's the last thing I do. And there's some days that I don't. If I'm like super duper in a hurry, or just jumping in, to rinse off, and somebody's waiting on me or something, sometimes I don't take the time just to stand there. But yeah, a friend turned me onto it, and I haven't looked back.
Well, that's
Now,
cool.
I haven't gotten to the point where I went full-on polar bear club either. I haven't jumped into a frozen lake or anything, but I'll do it in my shower.
I eventually would like to work up to that. Me looking into it is actually for my anxiety. I noticed it probably has been happening for much longer than I even can remember back. But I would say last year, I found a few times when I was having severe anxiety, the kind that lingers for weeks at a time, things like that.
Yes.
That I would all of a sudden get to where I couldn't breathe if I walked into a cold room, or if I got too cold in the shower or something other like that. I mean, just to the point where, like, this right here, goes in like that, and I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And it took a long time for me to finally associate it was an anxiety trigger. It took a long time. So anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, if you have experienced something like this, do some research and look into it. But that's my catalyst for doing this, is because I want to see how much progress I can make with actually, I don't want to learn how to turn, I want to actually not just learn how to turn the fight or flight off more, because I've been building up, and slowly I've been able to control it better and better. But I want to get to the point where it doesn't really kick in. I don't know if that's possible. So I may be trying to do the impossible, but that is my goal with some of the exercises, and with the cold work in particular, is to get to the point where it does not trigger that anxiety, that fight or flight reaction for me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's all about rewiring your neural paths, you know. It is possible to get past stuff like that. I mean, my greatest fear in life, and I'm still very wary of them. I don't run. I don't go full on ninja when I walk into a spider web anymore, but, you know,
my husband does.
Let me tell you, and you know, being out in cemeteries and stuff, you walk through that stuff and you don't have a flashlight on, and that stuff is all over you and in your hair, and yeah, and you never know if the spider was in the web or not. Well, my son, when he was 8, got a pet. It's a Goliath bird-eating tarantula.
Oh, Lord.
She is huge. She's the size of a dinner plate. She's huge.
Oh, my gosh.
And it was like I couldn't walk past the cage. But now it's, she's there, you know. And because of that, outside, the little spiders that are out there, I'm like, y'all are nothing. You know?
Right, exactly.
I got something that eats birds at the house, you know. So it is possible. And that was conditioning. Oh my gosh. It was all about conditioning. Now, I was past that before I started doing the cold stuff. Obviously, he's been in she's been on our family. Well, my son's 32. He's had her since she was 8. So she's been around longer. She's been here longer than my daughter has. So
what is her lifespan?
They live about 50 to 60 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yes. So that's the kind of pets we have. But
I agree with what you said about conditioning. And I was thinking, the word I was thinking of was desensitization.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think that's something that I've realized is actually part of our life's work that we don't like. I'm kind of having an epiphany right now.
Okay.
We don't like the fact that we have to desensitize ourselves over and over and over all the way throughout our lives.
Yes.
As humans, I should say.
Yes. Yes. And the things change. I mean, as soon as you're desensitized and you're conditioned to live with this, then here comes something else you have to work with.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
It's just like what we were talking about with the health issues, you know. I mean, it's all about where you're putting your focus and your energy, you know, and everything. And conditioning and desensitizing ourselves and constantly growing is just a part of life. If you want to continue to enjoy it, I think. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw there was one thing that it sounded much very like a Leeism, but it was on the at the chiropractor's office today. It was one of the slides that they showed. It said, if you're green, you're growing. Once you're ripe, you start rotting.
Wow.
So I thought, wow, that's like metaphysically deep. Because, you know, we get to a certain age and we think, oh, okay, we're adults now. We have adult problems. We have jobs. We have this, we have that. So I don't think of myself as being green at my age. But I also don't think of myself as being completely ripe either and starting to rot. Right. I hope that this is to the Southern folks that are listening to you.
Bring it on.
I'm going to take you back to a time when your mama, your grandmama, your aunt, somebody, especially if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, at some point in your life, you probably had to, or know somebody that had to go pick your own switch.
Mm.
And woe to the person that picked the switch that was too green, because then it wrapped around you and it did damage. Okay. It did real damage. When I saw that today, I thought, man, I hope I'm not a green switch, but I hope I'm, not that hard, rotten one that's going to break on you. And then your mom's going to make you go pick another one because that one broke. I want to be the just right switch that's still growing and not rotten yet, but still, serves a purpose. If a switch serves a purpose, let's just say that. But when I saw that, I was like, man, I hope I'm not the green one, They did damage.
That's actually a really good analogy. And yeah, the connection to, like you said, the metaphysical is so philosophical when you think about it. Yeah. And it's so many cliches we hear, or we call them cliches, and they really are not cliches. They really have a deep, powerful meaning,
Yes. I used to have a sign outside my classroom. It said, "Free knowledge, bring your own container." And it had a picture of, just a drawing of a head with the skull flipped up.
Yeah.
So, the knowledge is out there. You just got to find it. And you got to find the method that works for you.
Yes.
You got to find the method that works for you. If it's, and it's very much like a learning style. If you learn by doing it, then that's what you need to do. You need to find a teacher or a mentor that's going to let you have hands-on to that procedure. If you can read it from a book and you get it completely, from auditory by listening to books on tape or whatever, that's wonderful. But know your learning style and seek out somebody that teaches what you need to know in your learning style. And that's just not the metaphysical. That goes for learning a foreign language or whatever you're trying to learn.
I mean, that is fantastic advice, because the world wants to put everybody in a box and have everybody taught the same way. And we all have these lines that we're all supposed to measure up to when it comes to academically and all these kinds of things. And we get caught up in that and we forget we're not cookie cutter. And honestly, we were not designed that way. We were not meant to be that way and all do everything the same and have to do everything the same way. And that's part of the beauty of the show, is having people come on and tell the different ways that they figured out how to do it, because I'm one of those that I try all the methods. I don't know about you, but that's the way I am. Once I got started and I started getting my footing under me and I started going, some of this stuff really does work. I was like, I want to try it all so I can figure out really what all works for me. So I encourage you to to try them all, try all of the different types until, like you said, until something just resonates with you.
Yes. Just like the friend that told me to try the cold showers, I was like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I hate cold.
Yeah.
But that's why we moved here from Chicago. I hate the cold. But it's a method that works,
Yeah.
Just finding what works for you is a big thing. That has been one of my biggest worries with the world today, with not just the world, with education today. I'm afraid that we're going to neglect a whole set of our population because special needs children don't learn online. You can't sit a special needs child in front of a computer for 3 to 5 hours and expect to get what the TEA is saying that they're going to have to do. But I was very encouraged today. A friend of mine who is a special ed teacher, she is working with a company now, and they're actually doing workshops online for the kids where at home, it's kind of like watching Sesame Street, I guess. Sesame Street was kind of therapeutic for those of us in that area. But they're doing things, they're thinking outside of the box. What was going to work for the normal mainstream student that could sit in front of a computer and do their math and history and science and everything for 3 to 5 hours with the camera pointed on them. They found different ways to get these other students that are not conducive to that learning to find a way for them. And that's the same thing with us. I mean, I'm a hands-on. I can learn just about anything you want me to learn, and I learned a lot of crazy stuff, but I gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta do it. And people say, "How did you learn how to do this and this?" And I'm like, "Girl, you got to learn to YouTube and Google."
Yeah.
You can learn anything. You can learn how to rebuild an engine. You know, I got it in my mind the other day that I wanted to learn to crochet wire. Now, I have never learned to crochet yarn, but I got on there and I watched like 2 videos and I was like, I can do this. This is crazy. So we'll find out if I really can, because I went and bought the stuff today to crochet some jewelry.
How exciting.
That's it. And like I said, that's therapy for some folks. You know, I've got to be doing something with my hands. That was my mom's therapy. She did beadwork. Mm-hmm. She did rhinestone work, and she passed that on to me. And I actually do that. I have a business where I do custom costumes, like majorette costumes and stuff. And it was from learning the beadwork from her, but that was her therapy. Yeah. When she was on that walker and couldn't walk, she found some way to stay active. You know, if you're laid up in the bed, I have a friend that's pregnant with triplets. She can't go anywhere. They have told her that she needs help going to the bathroom even. And she's like, what am I going to do? And I said, well, you don't like to read, so learn to do something else. She's painting rocks.
Yeah.
And loving it.
Yes, exactly. You know, we tend to think when we become adults that we are supposed to be these all-knowing beings and be able to figure everything out on a dime and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just so not true. We are meant to learn and evolve and change from the moment we are born until the moment that we leave this earth.
Yeah. That was one of the Lee-isms I shared with you before. My mom used to have this saying, if you ain't growing, you're dying.
I wrote that down.
That's it. Yeah. If you ain't growing, you're dying, you know.
I wrote that down. Oh, that's so true, you know. And I think we just might as well just end the show right there, because I don't, you know, I mean, that is so true. Once again, I'd like to thank Mrs. Marie Gatone Davis for coming and sharing her story with us. I'm just blown away at her ability to seek out the positive in situations of crisis. Thank you, Marie, for coming and sharing your story of healing and courage and humor in the face of crisis. And we definitely will have to have you back on our show again, because I feel like you have so much wisdom still to share with us. If you'd like to connect with Marie, you can message her on Facebook at Marie Gatone Davis. And I want to say thank you to all the listeners for all of the love and support that you keep sending this little show. Keep it coming, and let's keep blowing these numbers up so we can take number 1. I'm Audra Carroll, and from all of us at Coming in Hot, remember, we are not of this world. See you next week.